Please welcome the president of Emily's List, Jessica Mackler.
Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be.
Thank you. This is such an incredible evening. Let me begin by recognizing every woman joining us on this stage tonight and every Emily's List candidate who has done the bravest thing that you can do in a democracy and put her name on the ballot. We are so grateful for you. We are so proud of you, and we are so ready to fight alongside you. I'd also like to thank the Emily's List staff who do incredible work under pressure every day. And you know what? It's not just the current Emily's List staff. If you have ever worked for Emily's List, will you raise your hand? And of course, the folks from Unite here who are taking such good care of us at the anthem tonight. I'd like to give a shout out to my friend and our founder, the one and only Ellen Malcolm. Tonight, we are all Emily, but only because Ellen was Emily first. And finally, I'm so grateful to all of you. I look forward to the We Are Emily Gala every year. It's a chance to catch up with friends, to recommit ourselves to victories in the year ahead. But this year, it feels especially meaningful. Look, I don't have to tell you that we're in a difficult moment. Every time we pick up a newspaper or check out social media, it seems as there's another horror lurking. Another story of an ordinary Americans getting screwed because the people running the country just felt like screwing them. And of course, just as we said they would, women across America are paying a hellish price for the sins of ignorant men. It was just earlier today, we learned anti-abortion extremists have a new plan in their quest to fully ban abortion nationwide. If it makes you angry, it just means you're awake. I'm angry too, incandescently angry. So go ahead, feel angry. The thing we can't afford to feel is helpless. That's what they want, right? They want us to feel so overwhelmed by the sheer volume of brutality and injustice that we start to feel powerless to change things. And that's why nights like this are so important. Because I look out at this crowd and I look at the incredible women that I'm sharing a stage with, and I don't feel powerless, not by a long shot. Because of our work over 40 years, women are front and center in the fight of our lives. The power to confront this ugly moment in our history is in our hands. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to happen with one donation or one race or even in one election cycle. It won't. But it has to start somewhere, and it has to start now. As Cecile Richards told us, one day, our children and our grandchildren, they may ask us, when it was all on the line, what did you do? And the only acceptable answer is, say it with me, everything we could. And so it begins, as it always does for Emily's List, with winning elections and putting Democratic pro-choice women in positions of real power. We can do that this year, right across the river in Virginia, up I-95 in New Jersey. We can help Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill become the chief executives of 2 key states. And with that momentum, we'll enter the midterms ready not just to challenge the Republicans' grip on power, but to punish them for the way that they've abused it. And by the way, they hear us coming. Yes, they do. That's why they're refusing to hold town halls. Republicans across this country have gone into hiding. And next year, we're going to send dozens of them into early retirement. That's right. Democratic pro-choice women are going to kick Mike Johnson out of the Speaker's office. But we're not just going to take back the majority in Congress. We're going to build power in the states by electing more Democratic women who will stand on the front lines, protecting their communities from this administration's cruelty. Governors, attorneys general, state legislators, and judges. Yes, we are angry, but we are not powerless. We are not afraid, and we are not going to back down from this fight until it is won. We've been in this fight now for 4 decades. And over that time, we have elected more than 220 women to Congress. When we started more than 40 years ago, women represented less than 5% of the Democratic caucus. Today, it's 44%, the highest it's ever been. And we've elected more than 1,600 women at the state and the local levels, and we added one more today. We're sending Justice Allison Riggs back to the North Carolina State Supreme Court 6 months after she won her election, and Republicans refuse to concede. Now, you all know so many of these victories have come in the face of long odds. In 2018, a single mother, a member of the Laguna Pueblo tribe, decided to run for Congress. And a lot of people counted her out, but not Emily's List. We got behind Deb Haaland, who not only won that race, she went on to serve as a cabinet secretary, and with our help will be the next governor of New Mexico. And last cycle, we were all in for an extraordinary leader in a Senate race she wasn't supposed to win. Her male opponent was outspending her 10-1, and a lot of people told us that beating him would be impossible. Senator Angela Alsobrooks would beg to differ. And just last month, the richest man in the world came to Wisconsin intent on buying himself a seat on the state Supreme Court. And a whole lot of people figured there was no stopping him and his millions of dollars in attack ads. But we knew better. And now the people of Wisconsin will have Justice Susan Crawford on the bench protecting their rights. For Emily's List, impossible has always been an invitation, a chance to prove the critics wrong. Now, there's rightly a lot of talk about what strategies Democrats should be using right now to win. How to be successful in an unprecedented environment. How to tackle impossible. I've seen a lot of hot takes from people who say they have the answers, but somehow lack the courage to put their names in the paper. I'm going to gladly put my name on this. At Emily's List, we have spent 40 years turning impossible into 50% plus one. We do it by doing the nuts and bolts of politics better, by understanding that campaigns don't come in a box, and neither should campaign strategies, by tailoring our approach to each individual race, each individual candidate, each individual moment, and by bringing the dynamic spirit of our origin story into every challenge. From bundling donations to creating the gold standard for campaign fundraising, developing polling research or targeting ads to the exact voters we need, we stay at the head of the curve to give our women the competitive edge. That approach, it's more important than ever. And we rely on all of you to make it possible. We rely on your generosity, we rely on your passion, we rely on your confidence, your belief that getting in the game can make a real difference. This moment that we're in, it's a pressure test. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Mike Johnson, they're all hoping we'll fold, that we'll let fear and frustration get the best of us. But I don't see that happening. Not on a night like tonight, not with a crowd like this, not with a community like ours. Progress has always been the work of generations, but it starts with a spark. One woman in her basement in 1985, gathering her friends to change the game for women in politics. One woman in her community gathering the courage and the strength to ask her neighbors to send her to Congress. One woman in this crowd tonight gathering the inspiration to make her first ever contribution to help Democratic pro-choice women win across this country. Yes, we are at a crossroads. Yes, the fate of our nation feels uncertain. But I believe in this work. I believe in these women. I believe in Emily's List, and I'm asking you to believe too, because that is how we will win the fight for the future of the country we love. Thank you and have a good night.